So I was on a Delta flight recently and I finally got to check out the highly anticipated film Morbius. I actually was pretty excited to watch Morbius. The movie was originally slated to come out in like 2019, but because of COVID and other delays, it got pushed back until 2022, 3 years later, and unfortunately, it just doesn't live up to the hype. Dr. Michael Morbius is dying from a blood disease he's had his entire life. And so he's like a doctor or a scientist or something. He's creating a cure for this disease. And he uses bats to help him. And on one of his experiments, he gets the powers of a vampire. I have to be honest, Jared Leto isn't the problem in this movie. I actually think he's a pretty decent actor overall. In this movie, he's not like phoning it in. He's not doing a great job, but he's not a bad actor by any stretch. No, I think the biggest issue of this film is that it's just not very original. I feel like I've seen this movie about 50 times before. Seems like there's been almost a renaissance of like 2000s action type movies that have come up recently. Godzilla vs. Kong was also like this, but Morbius very much felt like it could have come out in 2006, ridden off of the highs of the Blade trilogy and like totally done well. Probably the highest praise I can give this movie. I like that it feels like a 2000s movie. I like that time period of film. But the cheesiness, the bad CGI, the bad acting by many other cast members besides Jared Leto just doesn't make it a very good film experience in 2022. I mean it. Like, besides Jared Leto, who I said wasn't terrible, everybody else in this movie is either phoning it in or they're just really bad. I mean, the main villain of the film is Doctor Who, and he becomes a vampire. And then the other main villain is the guy from Fast and the Furious. He's also in Transformers. And he is chasing Michael Morbius. He thinks he killed all these people. And then the final battle ends with Morbius killing the other vampire. Sorry, spoilers. Morbius defeats the other vampire and flies away. And the agent who's been tracking him the entire movie never actually gets to talk to him and just watches him fly away. And that's how it ends. The movie just feels like it had a script written from 2005. And they just waited a long time to do it. And so it doesn't actually end up working the way they wanted it to. Sometimes the cheesiness of the movie made me laugh, and that's all I can say.
It's Morbid time.
Overall, Morbius isn't the worst movie I've ever seen. I think people were reaching when they were like, it's the worst movie I've ever seen. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's not going to blow your mind either. If while watching Morbius you feel like you've seen this movie before, the odds are you have in other and better movies. It's cheesy, it's got bad acting, and overall, it just feels like it could have done more to push the boundaries of superhero movies.